This episode is sponsored by Supreme of the UK. Click the link in the description and support the podcast. Quote CFR at the checkout and receive 10% discount on your order.
Possibly, I don't.
Oh, they've got some kind of sure that's maybe connected. Yeah.
I think because he's American top team, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think
ATT.
Storley does. Yeah, I think Storley does train over there as well. Yeah.
He's good as well, but he's just he hasn't got he's not active with his ground control.
And he come up against Amosov, who just seemed to be amazing. But I watched Storley against MVP as well, and like you said, I don't think he was active enough on top. Do you know what I mean? He's wrestling superb, and he's control and stuff's great, but especially with the judges these days, man, you've got to be doing damage. You've got to be not just controlling. You've got to be looking to finish the fight. And like you say, I don't think he quite got the same sort of finishing ability. But
yeah, and I scratched my head with that. I mean, he was clearly dominating in reference to the control of position, etc. But MVP was, I'm sure he still outstruck him from his back, etc.
From his back, and this is it. And this is the thing with the new scoring system and stuff like that. You can win a fight off of your back if you're out striking them and doing damage and stuff like that. So it is a tough one when you get them rounds where he's been controlled for 4.5 minutes, but if he's opened a cut or if he's struck more off of his back, should he be winning that now? So it's a bit of a difficult one, but
and your wrestlers or grapplers will say, don't be stupid, Charlie. Noble, don't be stupid. He's controlling. If you want to get up, then you're supposed to be able to get up, mate.
Exactly that. It's a tough one. Listen, I've had some dodgy decisions from judges, but I don't really envy their job. Do you know what I mean? It's always going to be a hard job. It's hard when you've got the crowd behind you, you're listening to the crowd, you've got a different angle than everyone else, you haven't got the replay on TV, so it's not an easy job. Do you know what I mean? So
how would you if you could sit down with Scott and say, look, let's sort out this, let's be the trailblazers in regards to cleaning up this referee stuff, what would be some of the things you think should be implemented? Because I'll just set the table, Charlie. I'll set the table. I personally think the judges shouldn't even be nowhere near the ring. They should be in a room with headphones and a monitor showing everything what's going on.
Just watching the fight, not the noise from the crowd.
Yes.
Now that is one thing that I've said. Now my coach and stuff's always said, you know what they need to do is, if you don't finish the fight, then it's a draw, no matter what happens. Because I think BJ Penn used to say it as well. If you don't finish the fight, it's a draw. And then I know there's going to be 100 draws, but that way it takes all the judging away. You don't need to judge the fight. If you don't finish it, then it's a draw. But I think you'll end up with people with more draws than they've got fight or more wins and stuff like that. But I think it's very similar. I think similar to you. I think if you take the judges and put them in a back room somewhere on the monitor, watching the monitor, they can watch the replays. They've got the sound of the fighters maybe, but not the crowd or whatever it is. Just have them just watch the fight and not have the commentary, not have the crowd influencing it. That may be a difference. Do you know what I mean? Who knows? Maybe do 5 judges instead of 3 judges and put them all out the back. So I don't know.
Yeah, tough one. And it's very tough. And another thing I would say as well, I mean, just based upon some of the things I've been hearing regarding criteria to be a judge and stuff, it's like, why aren't former fighters? I mean, obviously we can see them becoming referees now, which is excellent.
That is good news,
we need fighters who can see things, know, okay, well that's a potential submission there. That's this. Okay, he's just like, he's running around.
I think it might come down to pay. I don't think they get paid enough. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of people get into it. Now, I might be completely wrong, and I don't want judges to watch this and go, oh, well, he's got it completely wrong, because I might have it wrong. But I think a lot of the judges get into it because they're not fighters. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They may like training and stuff, but they're not fighters. They haven't made it to the higher level, or they don't want to be fighters. They like the sport. Yeah. And they go, how can I be involved? Do you know what I mean? A bit like my friend John Gooden. he's one of the UFC commentators now.
Yeah, star. He's a star.
He's been training since I started. He's always been down there and stuff like that. But he had a friend die in a kickboxing match, and it kind of just like really took it out of him. And he started going into the commentary, I think, to still be involved.
Yeah.
But to get away from it to start with, I think. Do you know what I mean? And it was everyone's different. Do you know what I mean? But his commentary and the amount of effort and
I know research
all the time and stuff like that. Yeah. So he is really, really in depth with everything he does. But yeah, sometimes people just want to be involved and can't bring themselves to be a fighter, maybe, and that's why they get into the judging or the refereeing. But I see a lot more people getting into the refereeing who have actually been in the sport now, so maybe it pays better. I don't know.
Well, I don't think in reference to referee pay versus judges pay.
Judges pay, yeah.
Yeah, I think the referees get better recompense versus the judges.
Exactly. This is it. So the judges get to sit down and get a free meal and maybe whatever. All right, the referees have to be in the cage, but they get paid a little bit better. Then you'd choose to be a referee, wouldn't you? So.
Yeah, that was well unpacked. That was it's interesting. Trust me, we may have some referees that come out in the comments and say, actually, no, you're right in some cases, but you've got to consider this. So
this is it. Listen, I don't envy the referees or the judges. Do you know what I mean? I don't envy either of them, because you can be the best referee in the world and you make one little mistake and you're getting absolutely slated. Do you know what I mean? And it happens. Everyone's human. You make the mistakes. You may just see something slightly different. And there's fights that I've been watching and gone, oh my God, this and that. And then you watch again and go, oh, actually, no, that's right. Or no, he was wrong, or whatever. So you can't, I try not to be too harsh on them straight away. Don't get me wrong. I still do be harsh on them, I'm sure. But I try and take a step back and go, actually, let me watch that again. Let me see this. Maybe it was this, maybe it was that, but who knows?
Totally. And ultimately, look, the referees are there to officiate, to make sure nothing bad happens, reference cheating, etc. And also to protect the fighters. So I get it. I understand. It's frustrating, that you're thinking, no, he could take a few more punches. This guy is really durable, man. What are you doing, ref? But at the same time,
I've been there. I've had decisions by judges that have gone against me. I've had referees stop fights where I'm like, are you joking? Like, well, there's nothing wrong with me or whatever. And it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? You can't hold that against them. They are going on a split-second decision, and they are ultimately trying to look after you. Do you know what I mean? They're trying to keep people safe. And I'd rather them err on the side of caution and go, okay, I stopped it a little bit early, rather than, oh, I've stopped that a little bit late and done some serious damage. Do you know what I mean? So
which what's springing to mind as we wind down on this referee topic. Do you remember a few weeks back that event in San Antonio where that referee let the guy, he was choked out?
Yeah.
Then he was in like an arm bar
or something.
And woke up.
This is it. I've seen cases where the people are out, like in the choke, they're out, and they're saying, I mean, who was it? It might have been PFL or World Series of Fighting. Was it Berkman choked out John Fitch? And he's saying to the referee, he's out. And the referee's like, no, carry on. So he just stood up, and it's like, oh, he is out. Oh, yeah. So sometimes you get it wrong. Sometimes they get it wrong. But I would rather the referee stop it, like Askren against Robbie Lawler. Robbie was all right, wasn't he? He was in the choke.
Yeah.
But I'd rather them stop that and go, yes, shit, I made the mistake and got it wrong, rather than Robbie be out and him still choking him out and maybe do some damage.
Totally. That was a Herb Steen decision from recollection.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
And it's a pity.
I'm saying that now, when it's happened to me and it's been stopped early, I'm then going, well, I've just lost half my fight purse. Great. What am I going to do now? So I do understand. I do understand the frustrations, but.
And I champion, and I've been champion. And soon as I found out about this model, how fighters are paid, because I was a dumb casual at one point, Charlie. I was a dumb casual, loved the fighters and stuff. I didn't go into the minutiae of how much people are getting paid.
Yeah.
And then I found out how low some of the fighters were getting paid. And
Yeah.
then it was like show and win money.
Win money.
Are
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
being serious? These guys
Yeah.
are putting their life on the line in essence and breaking bones, bruising, concussions, contusions, all kind of stuff just to make it to a fight. And you're going to say, we're only going to pay you your show money because you turned up. And if you win, you're going to get the
double
rest.
it or whatever it is. Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. You know, the hardest part is, excuse me. Now, listen, Bellator pay me really well, so I'm not complaining at all. But the hardest thing is mentally not spending your win money before you've even got it. Because I go into every fight thinking I'm going to win. I don't go into a fight going, well, I'll only get my show money here. I expect to win every fight that I go into. I don't care whether I'm fighting Brock Lesnar or whatever. You know what? Whoever it is, it doesn't matter. I feel like I can beat pretty much anyone, and I go in there thinking that. But the trouble with that is I go in there going, okay, I'm going to earn this much money from this fight. This is going to be great when I finish. And then if you don't win, you go, shit, I've already spent half of that money and I haven't got it now. Then it's hard work. You know what I mean? But
that comes with maturity, sir.
Yes.
Well, the alternative, Charlie, is for fight promotions just to be fair, a little bit more fairer and say, look,
we're meeting in the middle.
You turn up, as long as you turn up and you fight, we're paying you the whole thing. And potentially what we'll do is we'll give you a performance bonus or a fight of the night, however you want to phrase it.
Somebody do that. Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not gonna like flick through read.co.uk and think, oh, that surveyor's job looks excellent. They're paying £45,000. I'll sign the contract up and they say, yeah, okay, the noble. You see what it is? It's £45,000, but we're gonna only pay you half because we got and we're gonna make sure you do a good job first.
Yeah. This is the trouble. Isn't it? I mean, the thing is, when you get to the big promotions that are paying that sort of win and show and win money, everyone wants to win. Do you know what I mean? I don't know anyone that would go, I tell you what, I'm going to get this much money, so I'll just go in and fall over. Do you know what I mean? Because if you do that, you're not going to be signed to them very long. Do you know what I mean? So maybe you should just sign the contract and get here's how much we're going to pay you and whether you win or lose. But who knows? Maybe it will change.
Yeah, trustfully, being optimistic. I don't see it though, unfortunately, because I don't hear.
Not at the moment.
No. I mean, I think there's been I can't remember the report. The last report I read, they were saying there has been, I think it's like an 18% increase across all fight promotions in regards to, that's on average on fighter pay. So there is some movement in regards to the recompense of these, fighters, these prize fighters. Ultimately, you've got a desire to compete, number one. You've put the work in spiritually, mentally, physically, etc. And ultimately, the reward of that is getting the victory and being paid.
Yes. Yeah. This is it. I mean, well, I spent years getting paid absolute peanuts on the regional circuit, working a night shift to be able to train during the days and stuff like that. So I've done it because I love the sport.
Yeah.
So being able to fight for Bellator and, like I say, actually make a living out of something that I love doing, I can't complain. So
yeah. Do you think that the UK itself could invest a bit more into the scene to help sort of drive and
possibly, but it's hard. It's a hard one. Do you know what I mean? It's like who would be putting the investment in? Who would be able to finance this sort of thing? Do you know what I mean? If there was someone who loves the sport and actually wanted to make a promotion and pay these people, but I mean, there's a lot of good promotions out there in the UK that are just scraping by a lot of the time, putting on fights to get the guys the recognition to be able to then go to the bigger shows, but they're not going to be able to afford to pay these guys that sort of money. Do you know what I mean? So it's a tough one. It is a tough one.
Yeah, very, very, very tough. Very tough. As you say, trustfully, there's going to be some rich guy who thinks, yeah, come on, let's do something, man. Let's put some investments. I mean, I did hear, wasn't there some talk a few years back? Well, quite some number of years back of a PI, a UFC PI being in England. There was like 3 sites for it or something.
I've heard rumours of PIs and stuff being put over in England and stuff like that, but again, I don't know. Like there was talk of them doing like the UFC gyms over here now. I think there is one or two, but it's not the PI, is it? It's not the same. It's more of just a fitness gym and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
totally.
yeah.
Well, with PFL making a headline more into Europe and the UK, you've got, Dan Hardy sort of championing that. So maybe we can see, maybe we can even see a PFL and Bellator collaboration.
You know what? Someone sent me something the other day about PFL buying out Bellator. Now I've then seen something say no, it's just rumours. That was fake news or whatever it is. But
a stake.
If they wanted to do a collab, then great. Just however they want to do it. Like I say, at the moment, I just think if you can get as many eyes on the sport and in the UK and stuff like that, and Europe, that's the best thing for us. The more people watch it and the more people realise what an exciting and sport it is, that's what we need. People to be able to watch it and go, yes, these are the best guys in the world doing the best sport in the world. Like you say, anyone can win at any point. It is such a good sport, but at the moment you need the eyes on it and people to watch it. So
yeah, and I think what the PR team, pardon self, in Bellator needs to do is to step up the marketing game a little bit more, because it's generally the week of an event.
Yeah,
I kind of figure out, of course, Bellator's on. Oh, okay, who's the main event? Okay, it's these guys. And you check the website. We need more, like about 2-3 weeks beforehand. This is the event. Let's talk about the prelims or the main card or stuff, just to get that appetite going.
That's it. Yeah. It's listen, these days I'm a bit behind on the social media myself. I'm a little bit old now to be too good on the social media and stuff. But these days it's all about social media and posting stuff out there, getting it out and getting it in the news, getting people talking about it. And like you say, the more they can do that, the better it is. The more people see it, the more people realise that, like you say, it's on on BBC iPlayer, it's here, it's there, and it's available. If you don't see that until the week of the fight, or you don't see it until after the fight, and go, "Oh, I could have watched that,"
Indeed.
then it's not doing the business.
We need to. I mean, I try my hardest to cover every single Bellator event. I try to be fair. I do some big UFC events, but generally I concentrate on the smaller promotions because nobody else is. You don't see it's just everything is UFC dominated.
That's again, that is part of the trouble. I think there's a lot of people out there that, like you say, are only UFC orientated. It's if it's not a UFC, then it's not worth it, but it is worth it. There's great fights and great champions and stuff in Bellator, in PFL, in one championship. Do you know what I mean? So it's worth doing these events. And man, there's great fights. Do you know what I mean? It's all about great fights. So if you're a fight fan, watch all of them.
Exactly. Have a smorgasbord, as I say. Have a buffet with the MMA rather than just going with one meal.
Exactly that. Yeah. Watch all of them, man. Watch all of them.
Totally. So as we wind this down, so I don't want to take too much more of your time. What's the future plans? What's the plans? What have you got?
Man, I want to. Well, I've got to rest a little bit. I think I broke my finger in the fight. I got a few lumps and bumps, so I took some shots, man. So I want to take just a couple of weeks from too much sparring or anything like that, taking too many more shots, because I want to keep my future.
Of course.
And even it's funny because it goes down as a submission. I don't even remember being in the submission, to be fair. I don't remember being in the brawl with him. So I got dropped twice and I don't remember any of it. So I took some shots. So I need to, but because it's a submission, I don't get any sort of medical suspension or anything like that. But I spoke to the commission afterwards. They said, listen, take some time off. Don't get punched in the head much and stuff like that. And I said, yeah, I need to. And like I say, actually, it might be a bit of a blessing. I think I broke one of my fingers, so I can't do any striking at the moment. So I'm going to take a little bit of time, teach a little bit, train as much as I can, keep my weight down. And I'm looking at somewhere around August time, hopefully get back in again. Like I
Okay.
say, now with my visa, I'm hoping to get on another American show, something like that, because I know they've got Ireland, Dublin again in September, but it's the same
Yeah.
week as my sister-in-law's wedding, so I am away, so I won't be able to fight on that, which is a nightmare.
More
So
important things, sir.
yes, so I'm hoping to get on before that, maybe August time, something like that. If they've got another European show coming up before, happy days. If not, like I say, I've got the visa. I'll go over to America. I'll fight anyone, anywhere, really.
This
As
is
long as I get, yeah,
it.
as long as I get to go and do what I love, it's all good. It's
Yes.
all good.
Yeah. And I commend every female male who steps into that,
Yeah,
that cage in their underwear, in essence,
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, just put it all out there, man.
yeah.
That must be the hot. What was your first professional fight like? Was you
You know what?
nervous?
You know what? It was weird. I used to get nervous playing football, like really nervous, worried,
Mm,
like and when I'd done my first like amateur, when I was doing amateurs, it was like grappling things on the mat. Basically, it was crazy. Like back then, when there wasn't really much, but I was so worried that I was going to get nervous and it would be detrimental. That I don't know. It just seemed to go the opposite way. I went in. I was like, oh no, that was all right. It wasn't too bad. So then I had my first like back then again. It was classed as semi-pro. So
mhm.
it was on a show, which is now basically the amateur rules: the bigger glove with the ground and pound and stuff, but no elbows.
Okay.
In front of people in my hometown and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, don't be nervous. And I went out and I felt fine. I was all right. It was almost too much. I was too calm because I had a few
Mm,
fights where I've come out and it almost felt like sparring, and I get punched 3 or 4 times and go, oh sugar, I'm in a fight here.
yeah.
But yeah, so it's a strange one. I obviously do have nerves. It
Mhm.
always happens, but up until you're actually in the cage, I'm not too worried. I'm not, and then they lock the door and you go, oh no, he's going to try and beat me up now in front of me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's a strange one. It is a strange one, but I I enjoy it, man. I just
Mm.
love it. How many other jobs do you get to fly to Hawaii and fight in front of 10,000 people or wherever it was, and stuff like that? And I mean, fighting Hawaiian in Hawaii, I was always going to get some booze, wasn't I? But it was listen,
Yes.
I loved every minute, and I love every minute of it, no matter where I'm fighting. So
Yeah. The different places, the different
yeah,
people that you
yeah,
get to meet and stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Life is about experiences ultimately, and you
Yeah,
fighters, depending on what level you are, will get a chance to have a load of different experiences, man, for your time.
but honestly, man, me and the coach talk about it sometimes, about writing a book and trying to write some of the stories down that we've been through, and some of the things that we've done and all that sort of thing. And it's crazy to look back to from where I was and where I am now, and how my life's changed, and what fighting's done for my life. And
Mm,
like I say, what other job do I get to go flown over to Hawaii to get to spend the week in Hawaii and all this sort of thing, fight in front of 10,000 people, live on TV all around the world, get paid for it, and things like that. And with the train now, don't get me wrong, I train hard. I'm training twice a day, every day, and things like that. But with this job, it means I get to drop my son at school. I get to pick him and my daughter up from school. I get to spend a lot of time with the kids and all this
mm.
sort of thing. So I can't complain. Do you know what I mean? It's superb. So
You're living your dreams.
exactly that. Exactly that.
Or let's flip it a little bit. Your dreams are now your reality.
Exactly. Yeah, that is it. That is it. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I've still got more dreams.
Mm,
I've when I first ever started fighting, I wanted to fight in America because that was the be all and end all. When I first started training, it was all right. If you haven't fought in America, you haven't really made it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Or Japan, because it was still
pride.
yeah, pride and stuff like that. So it was America or nothing. Then I finally got signed with Bellator and thought, you know what? But it was like, okay, I'm only ever going to fight on the European cards probably, but I'm making a living out of it, so I'm not going to complain, but I'm never
Yeah.
going to fulfill that dream. Then I had this opportunity, and it turns out that I fulfilled a dream, but I've
Mm,
still got another one because I went over there and I didn't win. Do you know what I mean? So I have to go back and I have to get a win, and that's
yes.
that's that's how I need to do it. So I can't.
Mhm.
It's yes, I am living the dream, but I've still got more dreams to fulfill. So it's
Of
it's
course.
it's great, man. It's great, and like I say, I can't complain, can I?
And let's get into the weight cutting.
Yeah.
What what is that process like for you? So, for instance, let's keep it English as well. So,
Yeah.
stone wise, pardon me.
Oh God, stone wise.
What do you walk around at?
Do you know how long it's been since I actually talked in stones and stuff like that? God. Now I get quite heavy. I shouldn't get to this heavy, but I do get quite heavy. I mean, in the lockdown, at one point I was up at about 103 kilos, which God knows would be. I fight at 70 kilos, which is 11 stone 1. Or that's what I weigh in at, and 103 is probably somewhere up at about 16 stone or something like that.
Wow.
15 stone or something. But I regularly walk around, probably around nearer the 90 kilo mark. So hang on, 84 would be 13 and a half stone, something like that.
Okay.
So around 14 stone maybe. But that is not particularly in the best shape. Do you know what I mean? When I'm in camp or when I'm being good, I'm around the 84 mark. So I'm around middleweight. So around the 13 and a half stone, and I cut down to 70 kilos, which is 11 stone 1. But saying that, I'll weigh in at 11 stone 1 on the Friday. By the time I fight, I'm up at somewhere between 77 and 80 kilos. So I'm put on over a stone or stone and a half sometimes between weighing in and fighting.
Now, obviously, the sport's become a lot more cleaner in regards to, anti-doping and stuff.
Yes, yeah.
What are your thoughts of fighting more of you at your natural weight versus?
You know what? I would happily fight more at my natural weight. But listen, when I first started, I made my pro debut at welterweight. I'd fought at lightweight before, made my pro debut at welterweight, and felt great. I then felt like I got a little bit lazy. I was still cutting the water and stuff at the end of it when I shouldn't have been. I should have been healthy and trained all the way through down to the 77 kilos or wherever it is. And maybe that's just me. I'd got lazy. Maybe I didn't do the extras because I didn't feel like I needed to, where I should have been. But going to lightweight means I have to put the extras in. I have to do the extra runs. I have to be strict on my diet. I have to be there. And right now, I only cut weight to be the same size as these guys. If I fought at 77, you've got guys cutting down to 77 and then putting a stone and a half back on again. Now, cutting weight is dangerous. It's not good for your body. It's not great. But getting punched and laid on by a guy who's a stone and a half heavier than you isn't particularly good for you either. So it's trying to weigh it up. Do you know what I mean? The thing is, I would happily do maybe on the day weigh-in you could do, or you could do the hydration tests and stuff. I don't know how well that works and things. But the trouble is, you will never stop people cutting weight. Because even if it was on the day, you could be weighing someone before they stepped in the cage. If they're not on weight, they're going to cut a little bit. Then that's getting dangerous. That's when people are going in with not enough water on the brain and stuff like that. That's when people start dying. So at the moment, I know it's not ideal and people cut too much and it's not good for your body. But I think it's hard to find a different way at the moment. It really is. You know what I mean? Now, I would happily fight, because I've had quite a few catch weights and stuff like that. I'm one of these guys that say yes to pretty much anything. Do you know what I mean? Now, I thought this last fight was 165 pounds, which was like 74.7, so almost 75 kilos, which would be just under 12 stone. But it meant that I basically just dieted down to that, and I was still eating up to the point where I was weighing in and stuff like that. So it wasn't bad. Normally I'll get to 77 and have to cut all of that in the last 4 days or something. So it's all water coming out and stuff like that. So I felt great. The week of the fight, I still felt great. I was still eating. I was still walking around, training, going to the beach. So that to me is how it should be. But like I say, that's all well and good until you come up against a guy who's cut all of that weight, and then by the time you fight him. So there's no other way around it. I haven't got the answers. Do you know what I mean? I wish I did. I wish there was something. I wish I knew a way of doing it that was healthier or better for everyone. But
Yeah, as you say, it's very tricky. And you mentioned the hydration test, and on rudimentary sort of look at it, that seems very good. Like with what one's doing and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
they're fighting in essence at a weight above what you would normally fight at. But
yes, yeah,
I've always questioned and thought, okay, well, you see them at the hydration test, and they
yeah.
come out, they bring a little cup and stuff.
Mhm.
Where's the metric? Where's the sign up saying this guy needs to be 0 point
And,
blah 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 blah? And the
and
explanation is,
this is the thing. I don't listen. I don't know the science behind it, and everyone's bodies are so different. Like
Mhm.
I'm just over 6 foot, and I cut down to lightweight. I've got a training partner, Sam Patterson, who's 6'3", completely shredded all the time, but he cuts down to lightweight. But he actually does it pretty easily still. Do you know what I mean? So everyone's bodies are so different. He burns so many more calories by
Mm,
just being like the way he is. Do you know what I mean? So him being hydrated and me being hydrated would be two different things. So I don't know.
yes,
Like I say, maybe I'm not clever enough. Maybe someone who's got the science behind it can explain it a little bit more. But one person's hydration is different to another person's hydration. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
some people like to do the water loading beforehand. Some people don't. Some people do the water loading and they say, okay, you need to drink 6 liters. I've seen people drinking 8 liters. Everyone's
wow,
different. Everyone's different.
yes,
You know what I mean? So it has to be specific to you, I think. Now, people are always asking, "Oh, what should I eat? What should I do this? What should I do that?" And I can tell you what I do, but it doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. Do you know what I
good
mean?
point.
It just is what it is. You have to work out how your body reacts to all these different things. Like I know people calorie counting and all that sort of thing. I've never been one of actually counting the calories, but I know full well if I've overeaten. I know if I've
Mm,
undereaten. I just feel it. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
know if I've eaten too much. I know how my body reacts depending on what time of like the camp that I'm in and things like that. So it's maybe that is 15 years of doing it, and we've been learning all the way through. Do you know what I mean? When I first
yes.
started, excuse me, I remember sitting in saunas with sauna suits on, tracksuits over the top, all this sort of thing, just ridiculous stuff. Like, oh yeah, well, you can suck one ice cube while you're in there. People were sucking lemons and things to try and cut the weight, and just
Wow.
crazy, just crazy things when we first started out. Nowadays you've got stuff like Sweet Sweat. You just put that on, go and sit in a sauna, and you're dripping and pouring sweat out. You've got, like I say, some people water load. I I'm a bit in the middle with the water loading because I tried it early on and it just freaked me out with the amount of weight that it seemed to put on, but it obviously doesn't. It's just water. But if you
Okay.
drink liters of water, that's like 6 kilos.
Mm,
So when you get on the scales and go, oh my God, I'm back up in the 80s, and you're meant to be weighing in a couple of days at 70 kilos, it freaks you out a little bit. So
yeah.
I was really worried. But then sometimes I've gone the wrong way and cut my water too soon. So then you get to the last bit and it doesn't come out enough, or it's hard to come out. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had 30, I think it's 32 pro fights. I had 2 semi-pro fights. I've never missed weight ever. Um, and like I say, I've fought a lot of different weights. But man, some of them have been really hard. Some have been
Mm,
easy. It just trying to get it right is an art form, and everyone is different. Just because it works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for someone else.
very true. Very true. Lastly, the your idea of writing a book. Have you thought about doing some vlogs of some of these interesting
You know what? My coach Dave, he started filming a lot of like fight weeks and stuff like that, and things like that. And he's got a load of footage of what we've been doing and all that sort of
yeah.
thing. But I think a lot of it gets put away, especially when you go out and I lost. It's like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, well, I don't really want to post that or whatever it is. It's hard, you know what I mean? Now
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. Like if he wanted to post it, he could post it. But
Mm.
like I say, with like the vlogs and with social media and all that, I'm so bad at it. Like I don't know whether it's my age or what, but I'm terrible, man. Like everyone goes to me, you need to post more, you need to do this, and I'll finish training, I'll take a photo, I'll do this, and I'll get home, and then 3 days later I'll go, oh, I never even posted that. Oh God, I should have posted it. I should have done. I am terrible. I'm terrible. I don't know whether it's just like I say, my age, or because when I get
Yes,
home, I've then got 3 kids. I don't know. My
indeed.
all of this is just life gets in the way, and I'm too busy living my life to post about it. Do you know what I mean? But
yes,
it is detrimental to me sometimes, because maybe I don't get the recognition, maybe I don't get the sponsors that I would if I posted more and all that sort of thing. So I've only got myself to blame. But
yeah, I mean, look, the most important thing is identifying that you may have a weakness and shoring it up. So maybe getting the missus involved in the social media, and she can just run the whole lot.
This is it. I've got to get someone that I think can just run it and post it and do it all for me, because like I say, I'm terrible, man. I'm terrible at it. So yeah,
you do the real stuff.
Yes, that's it. I'm busy getting punched in the face every day, so I can't work my phone as well. But...
Totally. Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, sir. Two last questions for you. Yeah, definitely. Two last questions for you.
Yep.
First one being, have you had fun today?
Oh, I loved it, mate. Loved it. It was great.
Excellent. And the very last one would be, please tell us who you are, but do not tell us your name, Senor.
Okay. I am a Bellator fighter who likes to put on exciting fights and tries to impress the crowd as much as possible.
Excellent. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Throw all your social medias out and stuff, and I will make sure I will put it below in the link description.
Yes. No. Straight after I've said my social media activity is terrible. So it is Leary917 on Instagram. I have Facebook is just Charlie Leary. I think I've actually got an athlete page as well on there that my manager's posted up, but like I say, I'm terrible on it. And I'm on Twitter, and I think it is Leary 8 MMA or something like that. Like
cool.
I say, I'm awful on there.
Yeah.
But
we'll get there. We'll get there.
This is it. The more people that follow me on there and message me and say to me, post and stuff like that, maybe it'll get me going. And you know what? This was the most annoying thing. I wanted, when I signed with Bellator, I thought, you know what? I might actually get my blue tick on Insta, and that was really gonna. And I applied for it and stuff, and I got turned down. I'm like, oh great, and it just seemed to just dull my interest again. I'm like, oh man, what? Yeah, but listen, if I can get enough followers, maybe I'll get my blue tick and maybe I'll post more. So everyone follow it, and we go from there.
Perfect. So you hear that, guys? Make sure you click the link below in the description. Make sure you follow, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we out of here.
Thank you very much, man.